Okay, it will ship today. A friend of mine did this. When I was a tech at a calibration lab, we had a torque wrench arrive for calibration. Now, to do the job right, you must let the wrench sit in the lab until it has reached the same temperature as the lab and the calibration standards. It was winter, and the wrench was cold. Unheated shipping truck, warehouse, etc. So this wrench was put on the shelf to acclimate, which would take 2,448 hours. That afternoon, one of the salespeople told the torque tech that this wrench must ship today. Because it was a big customer and he wanted to make a good impression. The tech obviously said that it couldn't, because it had to acclimate before being calibrated. This salesperson was the sort of irresistible force who thought that no one could, or would, ever stand in his way. He was also not supposed to be in the lab or in any way involved in production. He was also kind of in a dollar hole. So the tech again explained that the wrench could not be calibrated until at least the next day. Otherwise the calibration would not be a good one. And we don't do it like that. That's when the salesperson exploded and flew his BTCH flag high. Repeated several times that it must ship today. After the 10-minute tirade had ended, the tech just told him, it will ship today. So the salesperson huffed back to the sales department, gratified that he'd got his way again. As soon as he was gone, the tech processed the order as a return as is and put it on the shipping cart. The wrench did indeed ship that day, without a calibration certificate. The customer was miffed. The subsequent investigation did not show the salesperson in a good light. He was officially reprimanded. Ooh, perfectly malicious. Lab's reputation remains unstained and the salesman sinks. Imagine if sales were properly trained in the procedures they sell. Before you are allowed to sell these services, you must assist in doing them for 2 days. What you want is that when the customer calls and asks for expedited treatment, the knee-jerk response should be, well, that could prove difficult for procedural reasons, so I am going to have to go and ask what our options are. Quote, sales should always know better than to sidestep accredited procedure. Sales is not above accreditation. Accreditation is the livelihood of the lab. Sales will find out. Shipped along with the sales guy's reputation. Reminds me of the time I personally lost our company tens of thousands of dollars. Normal procedure. I'm given the markings that were supposed to be on the part. I enter the data on the computer. QA double checks the data, sends it to production. We got a huge last-minute order. If we didn't get it through this afternoon, we wouldn't make the quarter, and bad things happen when you don't make the quarter. It was stressed to me how top priority this is, and it has to go out ASAP, so do my magic as quickly as possible. Which I did. And to save time they decided to skip QA. You can guess what happened. Of course I made a typo. But it was too late. Hundreds of these parts were already marked with the wrong marking. And once they're marked they can't be remarked. So we didn't make the quarter. We had to toss thousands of dollars of now worthless parts. And had to remake the parts to put the correct marking on it. Fortunately, my boss was cool and realized I was being pressured and skipping QA was a dumb move, so nobody blamed me. Although the engineers did glare at me for the next day or two. Reminds me of my days in the world of telecom. Salesperson submitted an order for a new customer that had many more locations. And submitted the order to be expedited. Something we normally do for a hefty price. As we often had to pay our partners an expedite fee, and it gums up the works when one order has to be done out of order. And of course, he wanted the expedite fee waived. His justification for the expedite: I want to show the customer what we can do. Ugh. Reminds me of a time I worked in a materials testing equipment supplier. A salesperson promised a 4-week delivery time on a machine and panicked when he found it actually takes 6 weeks to build and ship. So to save his own hide, he attempted to bribe the warehouse foreman into giving him a machine that was already slated to go. Another salesperson's customer. The other sales guy found out and the two got into a fistfight in the lunchroom. The sales manager officially reprimanded the idiot and forced him to call the customer back and inform him of the real ship date. He subsequently lost the deal and was drastically under quota for the 3rd month in a row. Honest question. Why can't you put a fan to help circulate the air and bring it to temperature? Or even a bit of heat to help it if it was that cold? I'm not saying heat it with a torch. I'm saying just nudge it up a bit. Salespeople. Kind of in a dollar hole. This is redundant. I bet he really shipped himself after that. Oh good. I despise salespeople. Officially reprimanded sounds like slapped on the wrist. Without getting it in writing? You were lucky. Perfection. Cheers to buddy. Seems you gave the salesman a good recalibration on what to expect. Thumbs up. A little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. Wow, that salesperson really got what he deserved in the end. If it passes a visual inspection and a functional test, I don't see why you wouldn't keep a small stock of regularly calibrated items to do same-day swaps. Heck, you could also charge a small premium to pre-authorize repair responsibilities to streamline maintenance even further.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.